Yes, we're back on another series of marriage. Today we're going to be talking about the duties of a parent for marriage.
Well, we'd like to say a few words on the parent's responsibility to their children. Because certainly one day that
Today we're going to be talking about the duties of a parent for marriage.
Well, we'd like to say a few words on the parent's responsibility to their children. Because certainly one day that we gonna leave this earth, and we need to leave and plant the seeds in the heart of our children that they won't forget about God. For if you're a Christian and God have did something for you in your life, and God has shown forth His presence and His goodness and have done things of miracles even in your life, you want your children to have the testimony that you have, to testify with your life what Christ have done in you and through you, and you need to pass it on to your children. And you do it by your life. If I can read to you Genesis 18th chapter and the 19th verse, He said, I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and keep the way of the Lord, and do justly and judgment. God told Abraham that I know him. Do God know you? Did He know you that you're going to be honest? Or are you a liar, a trickster? Or do things, good things, because you planning on the other hand, receiving good things. You didn't do it out of your heart. You did it so you could receive whatever you after. God said, I know him. God need to know you as a Christian. Not one that say I'm a Christian, don't live like one, don't act like one, don't talk like one, don't dress like one. You can say that you're in the army and you can wear the uniform, but if you ain't enlist, you really ain't in the army. You can wear the label as a Christian, but if you're not living a Christian, you can wear the label, but you're really not a Christian. God said, this man, I know him. He will command his children and household after him. You train and raise your children by your life that they might know you as an example. Because God said, I know him, He gonna command them after him. Meaning He has a proven life that those children see. They see this can actually be lived. This actually can be a blessing in their life. This is the manifestation of God being manifested in the parent. That's why He said He commanded His children and household after him. He didn't say nothing about his wife. He didn't have to, because the wife is inside of him. They are one. They are the one that running the household. They are the one that's being an example before the children. So he don't have to mention her because they are one. Didn't you see the example that he did? When he made man in his image, his likeness, and saw that he didn't have a helpmate, so he took her out of the man and made the woman and brought the woman to him. And she became his wife, and he said, this is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. They are one. And to keep the family, to keep the way of the Lord. Not their own way, but the way of the Lord. To do just and judgment. Just is doing right. Being just, being fair. Judgment, to judge fairly. And if we do this family upon the children that the parent have brought into their life, this Christ that lives different from the world, then look what he says in Psalm 78, verses 4 through 7. He said to show the generation to come. You want to show the generation to come. You want to show your children, so your children will show your children, and your grandchildren will show your great-grand. You wanted the generation to come to the Lord and his strength and his wonderful works that he has done. For he established a testimony, and he established a testimony in you, that you can testify. This is, tell your children, this is what God done for me. When I got ready to get married, when I got married, when I started out with your dad, started out with your mom, You can tell them the things that God has done and establish a testimony in your life. He appointed a law in Israel which he commanded the father, that they should make it known to your children. God said it's your responsibility to make these things known to your children. The thing that you went through, the thing that you suffered, the thing that God brought you out of and brought you through, you ought to be able to testify and tell the goodness of God, how he brought you out. This is the parents' responsibility. They ought to be with joy to have a testimony concerning what God has done, that it'll be passed on to their grandkids. So then he said that they might set their hope in God. They see the mistakes, some of the mistakes you made, some of the suffering you did, but how you stayed in Lord and how your decision was made in the Lord and how he brought you out. He said that they might set their faith in God like you did. You had some success. If they do the same thing, they'll get the same success. God said that I'm not partial. What I did for one, I'll do for the other. So they'll set their hope in God and not forget the work of God, but keep his commandments. If the father and the mother kept his commandment and lived before the children and taught them and gave them that testimony, how God saved them, how God brought them out, and they see a transformed life living right before them, then they come to receive your testimony. And you will help you keep the way of the Lord. For if Daddy and Mama was successful, if I did the same thing, I ought to get the same results. But God don't have no respect of person. What he did for one, he'll do it for the other. Look what he says in Deuteronomy 11, chapter and the 19th verse. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them, when thou sittest in the house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou layest down, and when thou risest up. God said, keep it before the children. How do you keep it before the children? You are that door that they go in and out. You are the one that they see day and night. When you get up, when you lie down, they see that life that you live. They see by your example. While you're walking by the wayside, going about your everyday business and stuff, they see how you are. They see if you prejudice or not against other races and stuff. They see how you shy away from different people. But if they that way with all people, they can see that too. So he said, while you sit in your house, you ought to be able to see different lifestyles in the world, and you need to train and teach your children. So he told you to teach them, your children, speaking of them, that the direction they should take when you're sitting in your house. There should be discussions and teachings. There should be prayer. How are you going to build a relationship with the family if they don't come to know who you are and you become to know who they are? So he went on to say, and thou shalt show thy son in that day, saying, this is done because of that which the Lord did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. Exodus 13 and 8. He said, this is what the Lord, this is the testimony. This is what the Lord did when they brought us out of Egypt. The king wouldn't let us go. 10 plagues come upon them and nobody could move them but God. Then after those plagues come, they proved to them that was God and nobody but God. And he let them go. This is the testimony which he did in Egypt. They got down to the Red Sea and they couldn't get across the water. God opened up the water and they walked through on dry land. They got across and then they ran into a problem with no stores out there. They didn't have no food, but they didn't get home. They didn't have no pipes and there wasn't no water, no wells out there off into the desert, but God supplied them with water. Do you think God will do the same thing for you if you trust him? If you live obedient to him, God will work miracles just like he did then. He'll do it today. He's no respecter of person. God called us that we should train our children and that the parents have a responsibility to leave behind their children when they're dead and gone. the footprints of Jesus Christ into their heart, that they might, by the testimony, by the experience that they have had in life and in God, they ought to be able to testify. So he says here in Proverbs 29 and verse 17, encourage thy son, and he shall keep rest, and that shall give thee rest. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul. If you do those things that God said, and being a parent, he'll bring rest to you. You won't worry about him. He'll escape a lot of things in life, and he'll bring delight to your soul. Not grievous things, but delight, joyful things. Ephesians 6 and 4, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurse and the adoration of the Lord. You can do things to disencourage your children and make them rebel, but learn how to do those things that encourage, those things that build up, not tear down, those things that encourage, those things that motivates them, those things that lift them up, that the love might be shown, mercy might be shown. Don't be so hard and so dogmatic, because you can't make nobody's heart right. It takes God. The way they think, you can't make them not think another way. It ain't in your power, but God can. So he's telling us, don't provoke your children to anger, that you'll discourage them from doing the right thing. Provoke not your children to anger, lest they be disencouraged. I just wanted to say those few words to encourage you. For the parent's responsibility, a great responsibility and legacy to leave behind when you're dead and gone, that you still live through your children. Love your children, have patience, communicate, discuss. Don't let them be afraid to come to you with anything before you jump down that gulf. Learn to have self-control. Learn to bring mercy with it, love with it, forgiveness with it, and wrap your arms around them. And let's move forward from now, from this point on. Whatever mistakes was done, whatever was needed, let's start a brand new life. You can do that today with Christ. You can start a brand new life. No matter what you did in the past, you can start a brand new life today with Christ. And you can do the same with your children and with your marriage. May God bless you. See you next time.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up, and we just appreciate you for watching. Thank you.